Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video here today, and apparently modern women are going around as per usual saying that they don't need men, and it's actually backfiring on them. The men have said, okay, they're walking away, and now apparently men are in the wrong for doing so. So let's just jump right into the video. Don't forget to leave your own thoughts and comments.
Actually, it was somebody by the name of Ashley. She said that you're ghosting her and she has no idea why.
Okay, so she just kept telling me stories a lot about how she doesn't need a man. So I see her walking toward my car. I get out to open the door. Get out the door. She shuts the door and says, I can get my own door.
She was expressing that I didn't need you, like in the sense of like a woman needing to rely on a man, and that's why you ghosted me. It sounds like you're a little insecure.
Ah, yes, the classic. Okay, so woman says that she doesn't need a man. The man says, okay, no problem. And then she gets offended and calls him insecure when he leaves. This is the kind of situation I have been talking about lately, guys, where you as a man, you get shamed for participating and then you get shamed for leaving. There's literally there's no win-win here, okay? And a shocker to a lot of these modern women out here, but men go where they are appreciated. They're not going to go with you if you say that you don't need them, okay? So you can go out there, you can not need a man, you can be strong and independent, that's fine. Men are just going to leave you alone, but apparently even that is a problem.
So you can't handle an independent female who doesn't need a man. Just say that. It's not about can, it's don't want to.
On their first date, she did her best to prove that she didn't need him. So he decided to stop communication, as this wasn't the type of relationship dynamic he wanted to be in. But now she believes that he is insecure for ghosting her and canceling the second date.
Who would have called you, I guess, for the second date?
Actually, it was somebody by the name of Ashley. She said that you're ghosting her and she has no idea why.
Yeah, Troy, clearly your phone's working.
You see how he's laughing, by the way? Because he thinks this whole thing is stupid, okay? He tried to do the chivalrous thing, you know? He went out there, he opened the car door for her, it seemed, and she didn't want none of it. Now, this is the funny thing, guys, because you have women who say, I don't need no man, but then they cry and complain when they don't get chivalry. And see, these women actually ruin it for the rest of the women, ironically enough, who want this kind of behavior from men, you know? They want their traditional romance, they want a guy who's going to open their car door and give them flowers and everything. But because you have so many women saying that they don't need a man and they don't want these things, well, now none of the women get it. And I think it's great, to be honest with you. I think it's sad for the women who actually want this stuff. But let's be honest, guys, a lot of the women these days, they don't respond to romantic gestures. They don't give a damn. You rock up with flowers on the first date and you're going to get made fun of.
What did I do that is like so bad you couldn't call me back?
There she goes. That's Ashley.
Yeah, she's in.
Okay, so yeah, this is why, Ashley, you're like one of those girls that just loves drama. You love to fight. Anything that I said. I mean, it was exhausting, and honestly, I didn't even want to spend any more of that evening with you.
Exactly. This guy said it pretty much spot on. This is how a lot of men feel these days when they're dating modern women, or they're trying to. It is exhausting. It is tiring. The women will always fight you over absolutely anything, and the moment you leave, then you are the problem. These women, guys, this is a great word to use, exhausting. They are tiring, and men don't want to be around these people, man. Men, you know what? Oftentimes, men are going out there, they go to work, they're exhausted when they get home, and then they're greeted with you. It's like, no, this is not happening. Modern women love to fight over absolutely everything. I agree with this guy. I totally agree with this guy.
It was exhausting, and honestly, I didn't even want to spend any more of that evening with you.
Really, I'm difficult because I want to know why you ghosted me.
And see the gaslighting, right? Really, I'm difficult because I want to know why you're gaslighting me. Everything you say, they can't accept, right? You as a dude, you can say anything and they will just disagree with you and push back on it. Dudes don't want to be pushed back against. They really don't.
and that I'm dramatic.
Yep.
Excuse me. How dare I question a man? How typical. Oh, wow.
Okay. I mean, here, I didn't even have to really do anything. You guys see this, right? Did I even say anything about questioning a man? She literally just wants to fight about everything. She twists everyone's words. I mean, and I just honestly was like, I could not wait to just take her home.
Well, excuse me. No, you're the bad guy here. Like, I didn't do anything wrong.
He is completely right. He didn't say anything about it, but somehow she felt the need to bring the subject to the table. It's like she wants to look for things to argue about, and this attitude will eventually push mature men away.
Not even eventually, it'll just repel them immediately. It sounds to me like this dude went on a first date with this woman and he couldn't tolerate her after the first date. He was on the date, literally thinking to himself, I can't wait to drop her home. You know, dudes don't eventually walk away. They just walk away. They hear this nonsense, particularly the older dudes, right? Because older dudes have realized that, hey, I'm not going to sacrifice my peace for this nonsense, and they'll just get rid of these women pretty much immediately. Okay, some dudes will have fun with these women, and then they'll just chuck them to the side. And these are the same women who wonder why they can't get boyfriends, who wonder why they can't get husbands and things like this. It's because you're insufferable. Every single thing you try and do with a lot of these modern women, it's just like they will argue with you, they will push back, and then they'll make your life an annoyance. And then they wonder why dudes don't want to deal with them. And then if you explain it, then you're a bad guy, apparently.
Troy, please continue.
Okay, yeah. So let me just start just even picking her up from her house. So I see her walking toward my car. I get out to open the door. Get out the door. She shuts the door and says, "I can get my own door."
What? No, she didn't. Are you serious? You said that?
Yeah, I was very thrown off by that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm not like a child. I don't need a strong man to help me with the car. Like,
She is definitely taking this independent stuff too seriously.
Yeah, see, the thing is, men don't do these kind gestures for you because they think that you can't do it. They're doing it to be kind to you. You see what I'm saying? Like, I would be worried if you could not open a car door. What the hell's wrong with you? It's not about the fact that you can't open the car door. It is a gesture. These women are so ridiculous, man. So damn ridiculous. And this is why a lot of men are opting out of giving these women chivalry. Right? You go out there, you try and be chivalrous, you try and give these women these nice things, and they just spit in your face. And then they wonder why dudes don't do it anymore. You know, dudes just get made fun of. And guys, I'll say this as well. This is a pretty extreme case, I would say. But a lot of women still just don't appreciate this crap anymore. They really do not. You get made fun of, you get mocked for doing these things, and the only way you get away with doing these things is if you're highly attractive to that particular woman. And then it's like, well, you're succeeding in spite of. You see what I'm saying? Because you're very attractive to the woman, she's just going to rationalize it anyway. I mean, you could say the most horrendous crap and she's not going to care because you're attractive. So at that point, you're just doing it and it doesn't really matter. But for the average guy, you go out here, you try and do this stuff, particularly like flowers and whatever, women are just going to think you're weird.
And based on her approach to that situation, I know for sure in some circumstances, that date would have ended right there. That was the hint that the rest of the night would be a battlefield, but he decided to ignore that sign and it didn't go well for him. This is the reason we should believe people the first time they tell us who they are.
Okay, so she just kept telling me stories a lot about how she doesn't need a man, which is great. I love that she's self-sufficient, but it was just like she was so obsessed with letting me know that like I wasn't even really wanted, or she didn't or want to know anything about me.
I think this dude is being polite. A lot of guys really don't care if a woman is strong and independent. This is not something that makes women more attractive to us. It's kind of whatever. I think he's just being polite.
I did want to know about you. I just was expressing that I didn't need you, like in the sense of like a woman needing to rely on a man, and that's why you ghosted me. It sounds like you're a little insecure.
Why would you feel the need to make your date understand that you don't need him? And now he is insecure for ghosting you.
wrote, did you actually want to go out on a second date with Troy if you don't need or want him?
Kaylin, yeah, of course I wanted to go on a second date. I'm just saying I don't need a man, and it seems like you're taking his side, the man's side. Like, what's up with that?
Well, it's not that it's the man or the woman's side.
Calling it like it is, man. It's facts.
All right, so obviously there's not going to be a second date. This is going nowhere at all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Well, thank you for your time, Troy. We're sorry that we bothered you.
She proves his point. She is so argumentative. Why is she even dating? This was easy and fast. Not even the radio people wanted more of Ashley.
And you see, I'd also like to add this, by the way. This is why a lot of these modern women don't have friends, right? They have these social circles. They think that they have a lot of quote-unquote friends, but they really don't, because other women can't even tolerate them. You know, I swear, so many social circles I see of women is just a collection of women tolerating each other so that they can leech off of each other's social status. You see what I'm saying? Like, if one of them is really attractive, then the other ones want to be friends with her so that they can leech off of her status and things like this. I think a lot of modern women, they're in friendships, but none of them even like each other, like personality-wise. Contrast this to dudes. Men will have like the same friends since they were like 9 years old, and it'll be like 3 friends until they're pretty much in the grave, as it were. I think dudes have it a lot more correct this way, to be honest with you. You know, you have those ride or die friends, the people who actually care about you, things like this. I look at modern women's friendships and it's like they recycle that crap every 3 years. Absolutely insane. But yeah, of course the radio host couldn't tolerate her because she's insufferable.
Ashley was argumentative with everyone. She couldn't even keep her mouth quiet for this call. I don't think he needed to answer. She answered for him, and every guy out there knows exactly what I mean.
With Google Work.
Of course, there's an ad. Give me a second. 11:50. I will note down the time. I always forget to change the account.
Actually,
Where the hell? I gotta find where we were. Just give me a second.
She just wanted someone. She couldn't even keep her mouth quiet for this call. I don't think he needed to answer. She answered for him, and every guy out there knows exactly what I mean. Based on her approach to this situation, I don't think that she is actually willing or ready to meet someone. It seems like she just wanted someone to prove a point to, but it didn't work because fortunately, she was dealing with a mature man who also has boundaries and standards, so she will have to try it again, but with another person. Did you notice that she wasn't willing to give him time to talk? Instead of leaving this strong and independent narrative on the internet, she decided to take it seriously to the point of using it in real life. But as we can see, it's not going well at all. She created a whole personality around it, and it's not serving her. Later, she will be the first to complain about the fact that men aren't sticking around, and some of them believe it's due to intimidation, not realizing that it has nothing to do with it, but
Yeah, I've actually seen this a lot, by the way. Modern dating here makes a good point. These women will oftentimes try and say that the reason why men don't want to date them is because they're intimidating. It has quite literally nothing to do with being intimidating whatsoever. These women are not intimidating. No man is scared of them, okay? The dudes just don't want to be around them because they're awful to be around. It's really quite simple. I see these words thrown around a lot. And I see women try and convince each other of this, like, oh, don't worry, Becky. The reason why men don't want to date you is because you're just a bit intimidating, you know? And Becky eats that shit. Excuse me, I'll say this again. And Becky loves to hear that because she gets to take no accountability whatsoever. She just gets to say, yeah, I am intimidating. You know what? I am strong, and that's why men don't want to date me. It has nothing to do with being intimidating. You're just annoying.
preference.
This is why, Ashley, you're like one of those girls that just loves drama. You love to fight. Anything that I said. I mean, it was exhausting. And honestly, I didn't even want to spend any more of that evening with you.
She should use that feedback to self-reflect and make the necessary adjustments for a better outcome in the future. But we know she didn't listen to it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. These women don't listen. Even when they get to 45 years of age, they have no family, they're still single, and their family consists of an assortment of cats, they will still not listen. There is no self-reflection to be had, guys. Absolutely none. I think a lot of this is just the amount of attention that they receive on social media and the types of crap that they listen to. It's absolutely insane. These women will never change. Hell, guys, I even see it on this channel, right? I cover it all of the time. Women get to 45 years of age and they still think that men are the problem, and the reason why they're still single is because men are intimidated by them. You know, they're completely irrational until the end, to be honest with you. And the only time they get a semblance of logic, by the way, is when they're faking it in order to try and get a simp, right? They put the mask on when they're like 30 years of age so they can lock down some guy to get married to, some poor sucker. And they'll put on that mask for as long as it'll last until they get his money. And then they just resume being psychopaths.
Instead, she turned it on him, stating that he couldn't handle a strong woman like her. The interesting part is that she is proud of it. I think the false idea of being strong and independent makes her feel empowered, and this is why it's tricking her.
I'm just saying I don't need a man, and it seems like you're taking his side, the man's side. Like, what's up with that?
This is a clear result of what happens to those who take being strong and independent too seriously. It got to the point where she feels like we are from the opposite side. Now,
I mean, the reason why the radio hosts were taking the dude's side was because she's a psycho and because she was on the wrong side. It's really damn simple. These people, they get on here, man. There are so many women out there. They expect you to be totally impartial when what they're saying is complete nonsense. Oh, I thought the radio hosts were supposed to take both of us equally. It's like, no, you both spoke and you were the silly one. So of course they're not going to take your side, as it were, because the stuff you were saying was complete nonsense, right? It's crazy to me how these people expect it to be like, well, they think that they can come out here, say the most outlandish, annoying nonsense of all time, and then get upset when people don't listen to them and side with the other person.
now she believes that we are divided into groups. Some people really need to take a break from social media and the internet in general. I don't know why she placed herself in the dating scene when she clearly isn't ready for it yet.
In the next video, we have a simp in action. You will see the strategy most of them use to be chosen.
Women are the future. Like, we're gonna clean all this shit up, not just the homeless crisis, but the wars and all that stuff. Women need to take their rightful place as the ones running shit. Women are as close as you're gonna get to God.
What is this guy smoking? What is this guy smoking? I hear this argument all the time, man. You know, women need to be running everything. Let's have women CEOs. Let me just say this. Nobody is stopping women from running the show, as it were. They just don't qualify for the positions, or they don't make them. That's the way it goes, guys. Women can go out here, they can create their own businesses, they can become their own CEOs, they can lead the workforce, as it were, for example, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they absolutely do not. They just want all of the power and none of the responsibility that comes with these positions, oftentimes. Now, are there some women out there who will go out there and be die-hard career women? Yes, absolutely. But by and large, women don't go for these positions. They don't run the show because either they can't or because they refuse to step up and actually do it. What is this guy smoking? Insane, man. Women are as close as you're going to get to God. Why are we bringing religion into this, by the way?
Rightful place as the ones running shit. Women are as close as you're gonna get to God. Men can build buildings, write songs, I don't know, do expeditions to Antarctica or whatever. It's all cool shit. I'm not bashing on men.
Yeah, guys, you know, men built society and everything. You know, just that little thing called society. We built a few buildings. Nothing serious. He's not knocking it or anything.
Try creating life in your womb. Try creating life. My mother was the closest thing I ever got to experience to God. Whether she was a good mother or not is irrelevant. My mother created me. Women need to be president. Women need to run the world.
Just because you can talk doesn't mean you should be on a podcast.
You know, this guy, he does say something kind of interesting. He's an absolute clown here. But he makes a good point, okay? Which is that, I'm being so generous to this guy, by the way. But men and women, you know, there are certain things that each of us can't do. You know what I'm saying? For example, men, I can't go out here and birth a child. Absolutely not. I just don't have the facilities to do that, as it were. Okay, women can do something that I cannot do. I will never be able to do that in my lifetime because I am a man, right? And there are lots of things that men can do that women can't necessarily do, or the majority of them can't do, which is totally fine. And this is something that society refuses to acknowledge, guys. They want to say that we're both equal and that we can do the same things, you know? Women can do the same things as men and men can do the same things as women. Then all of a sudden the lines are blurred. You have men who are telling you that they're women competing in powerlifting competitions and smashing all of the women's records. It's a very slippery slope. You see what I'm saying? I think that men and women, you know, we are good at different things. So that's what I'll take out of this clip. The rest of it, I don't even want to think about the nonsense he was saying. Let's continue into some of the comments here.
Just because you can talk doesn't mean you should be on a podcast. This guy couldn't get a real woman with Elon Musk money. He's never been out of the friend zone. The act ain't getting you the clam, bro. Women know better. Simping in God mode. I don't believe that he is being honest in this interview. I don't think he believes in his statements, and this is one of the reasons we need to be careful when it comes to the information we get, as some people just make things up to impress the person they are talking to, and I believe this is what is going on in that room. He doesn't know the same woman he is trying to make happy by using those statements is at the same time looking at him as Simp's master. If we had the opportunity to talk to her after this interview and ask her a few questions about what she thinks about him, we wouldn't be surprised that he would score really low.
Just by the way, these are the types of men who get cheated on the most, I would say. You know, you go out here, you side with women on absolutely everything, they can do no wrong, you start to use words like they are the closest to God and things like this. Yeah, we'll see how women treat you when you put them up on a pedestal like this. Because this is the way that a lot of young men, for example, are raised to treat women. You know, they can do no wrong, they're absolutely fantastic, they should be running everything, etc., etc. And then the dudes who pedestalize women to such a degree, it's like the more you pedestalize women, the more you get completely ruined for doing so, to be honest with you. So these are the dudes who they get cheated on by their wife, to be honest.
We know he is not being genuine. She knows that he is saying those things just to please her, and this is the fastest way to turn them off. He thinks this is a good strategy to be chosen, but in reality, it will place him directly in the friend zone. His behavior in this interview is the exact reason knowledge is important, because as he doesn't know better, he thinks that this is the best way to be liked by women. This is what he thinks a man should do to win the race, not realizing his behavior will get him the opposite result. He doesn't know that women want a masculine man, a man of his word, a leader, a man who is honest, who doesn't see the need to create a character and fake narrative just to be liked.
So you can't handle an independent female who doesn't need a man. Just say that. It's not about can, it's don't want to. You can't shame me for not wanting something I don't want. Right? I like women who are feminine, soft. That's what I like. Right? Like, I like women who, when they come around, they're women. Not this independent, don't need a man. That's just, that'll turn it from midnight to 6, like real quick. Don't need that. Thank you, though.
And this,
I would agree with this guy as well, is you're going to have a real hard time shaming men when they don't want you anyway. I think this is where the strategy for these strong and independent women, as it were, falls apart, is they try and shame men into liking them. But that's not how this works, okay? You're not going to get men to come to your corner by telling them that they're insecure, or they can't handle you, or they're intimidated, or they're just little boys, or they're emotionally immature. I mean, the list goes on, right? We've heard all of these insults before. The problem is, if you start throwing out words like this, you're just pushing the men further away, to be honest with you. Like, they're just going to hear this and say, okay, well, so she wants me to stick around, but she absolutely hates me. I'm just going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to deal with someone who's more pleasant. I actually did a community post very recently, guys, over here on the YouTube channel. And it was kind of a joke where women have a lot of these standards. They have all of these things that they require men to be in order for you to be considered some sort of viable romantic candidate for them. Men have such little requirements. Now, I'm not saying that men should have little requirements. I think men need to up the amount of requirements that they have for women, to be honest. But the point is, it really doesn't take a lot to make a man happy. Dudes aren't out here with a list of like 2,497 different things that we want in a woman. In women, usually the list is like 3 things long: be nice, don't be overweight, and don't cheat on me, or something like that. The list is not very long for men. Don't eat a whole bunch of McDonald's. Be pleasant to be around. Probably, don't be a single mother. Very, very simple. The list that men have for women almost entirely revolves around abstinence from being a terrible person. And like most modern women just can't do that, man. It's not like we're requiring women to bring some sort of long resume and a list of accomplishments to the relationship. Men don't really give a damn.
6, like real quick. Don't need that. Thank you, though.
And this is why I have been happily married for 35 years, because my husband is my man and I am his woman. They just don't get it. Can we be both? I can do what I need to do, but also love that my husband takes care of me.
Yeah, no, can't do both. Sorry. Strong and independent, but you lost me at strong and independent.
I understand you, brother. I feel exactly the same myself. Anytime we have this type of video, the comment section is always interesting. In this specific clip, they wanted to prove a point that they can still be strong and independent, but at the same time be feminine and soft, just like the type of women he described.
Yeah, no, as a woman, or as, you can't play both sides of the fence. You pick a lane. You're either masculine or you're feminine. This is like a dude coming out here and saying, yeah, you know what, sometimes I'm feminine, sometimes I'm masculine, hey, but my wife is here and we get along great. It's like, okay, brother, we'll see how that goes, But these women who try and play both sides, they want to be strong and independent and do all this and not listen to you sometimes, but listen to you the rest of the time. It's like, no, dudes are just going to say no thank you. I'm just going to go with a woman who's feminine all of the time. Really, really simple decision. But guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. What do you guys think of women saying that they don't need a man and then crying when men don't stick around? I think it's absolutely hilarious. But we're going to leave it there. Make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.